What's Kimye?
I have been, as per usual, perusing on TikTok and whatever. I go through phases of being reminded about shows that I used to love. For example, I got reminded of Smallville. And the thing is, I've only seen it as a child. There is literally no memory of anything except for how hot Clark Kent is in this iteration. And I usually do not give a fuck about Superman. Like any other actor who played him, I'm like, I don't get it. But with Tom Welling, yeah, he's so cute. Like, he is just adorable. Also, the actress who plays Lana, probably the prettiest girl to ever exist, woman to ever grace this earth. It's kind of crazy. Sometimes I get reminded of Pretty Little Liars. This show has a special place in my heart. Like, I wasn't the OG fan when it just came out because I didn't really hear about it until I moved to Canada. And when I tell you, this show is ridiculous in the most delicious way, I mean it.
Did you think I looked feral?
I have made a video before on Pretty Little Liars. I think maybe a couple of videos. One of them was my Fashion Crimes Against Humanity series. I'm not going to explain the tier list because who the fuck cares? I think you're going to be able to keep up just by watching me sort people into those tiers. Next person is Wes. It's Ezra's brother. And honestly, who cares? Spencer's mom. She is one of those people whose sins I keep forgetting just because the actress just has this presence. It gives you that sense of comfort in a way of like, oh, I know this woman. She's just so familiar in the way that she is. Like, her vibe and everything has always been kind of like, trustworthy. However, I don't actually trust her. Famously, as you know, she was kind of approaching every situation where Spencer was involved in something in the same manner as Melissa. And Melissa is a menace in a sense of not ever realizing that she has 7 years age gap with her little sister. And if her partners who are the same age as her are involved with her little sister, who is underage, literally 15, there is no way in hell you as an older person who's that much older, 7 years is a big deal. She would always kind of treat Spencer as like a homewrecker. And I'm not saying that Spencer kissing her fiance or whatever is a good thing, but it is so disheartening and so disturbing to see every single person in Spencer's life who's supposed to care for her not give a flying fuck and choose to see her as some kind of harpy. Those men are grown. And the fact that they are not only cheating on Melissa, but cheating with a minor, basically assault a minor, this is crazy. So insane that I have to put her in the I keep forgetting your sins, but they're bad. I really loved when she would show up and she would stand up for the girls when it came to the Rosewood police. It was always a moment of, oh, thank God she's here. And that's why you would always forget that she genuinely did not even understand that, technically speaking, Spencer was groomed. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very disturbing. This lady, she's a detective. I don't remember her name. She should go both in We Were Supposed to Like You, but You Suck, and in I Keep Forgetting Your Sins, but they're bad. She's got the same type of vibe as Veronica does. Like, she is definitely one of those women who have that trustworthy presence. However, that woman was so ready to persecute children. I mean, were they children by that point? I think they still were. I think that they were maybe like turning 18. I'm not gonna lie to you, girl. I don't know what age they were when she came into the picture, but not normal anyway, even if they were 18. Like, a group of very young women where if you know their history with Mona and being and everything, it should be enough for you to understand that there's something fucked up going on in general and that those girls probably aren't the ones that have done something, right? Like, it's just kind of common sense. Honestly, she could go into We Were Supposed to Like You, but You Suck. Actually, I want to put her there because whatever. Anyway, the next person, also don't know. I was like thinking that maybe it's Shauna. Even if it is Shauna, still, you were there, I guess. Jake. This was Arya's love interest. There was this weird lineup type of deal with PLL where you had two age demographics, the 15-year-olds / 16-year-olds, and the next age group is 22-23. Those two ages are the ages that we got for every fucking character who's below 50 years old. And I just don't understand why literally everybody is that age. Every single love interest is inappropriate in terms of age gap. Most of them, it doesn't make sense why they would make them that age. to be honest. But he was definitely better for Arya. He was like chill and like normal. I'm gonna put it in, I keep forgetting your sins, but they are bad because the thing is, once again, he does have good vibes and he's definitely one of the better options. But the age, Mona.
Emily, I borrowed your car. Yeah, I have my own set.
Mona straight up goes into made the show because Mona is one of those characters that honestly was so iconic, defined the show.
Jump out the window.
The first A is always going to be the most iconic. And listen, I understand. I get it that the next A, the stakes were a lot higher. I get that we literally got the dollhouse and all that kind of shit. But I genuinely don't think that anything is going to be as iconic as the first 2 seasons of PLL. That's just where I'm at, okay? She's a slay. Nobody cares about this guy. She was someone's friend and then someone's friend and then something, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Allison's mom. Lord. Allison's mom. The fact that she buried her daughter, it's so fucked. I remember this was like the most disturbing part of the show back then. Like when it got revealed, I was floored. But also like so iconic. Even though I'm gonna put her literally in thank you for your serving category, it's not that I like her. I despise the bitch. Like, she's crazy. Who sees one of your children hit the other child, one of your children too, on the head and bury them immediately in your front yard? That's so stupid. Anyway, it's so iconic. She served a certain purpose and she served it well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hated the bitch. All of her redeeming moments that I do not remember, all of her fashion moments that I cannot name, they were there. Grundy,
you need to leave now, all of you.
She's such a freak. I did get annoyed by how supernatural the show was kind of leaning whenever she was there. I just couldn't deal with it. And I understand that it was because of like Ravenswood, whatever the hell it is, that side quest that Caleb went on. The stupidest shit imaginable. This guy was kind of a slay, honestly. I think that he was the appropriate age. Thank you for your serving. He didn't do much, but I just appreciate a cute guy who's normal, an appropriate type of age, being a love interest. You gotta give credit where it's due. I said do though. This is like the bare minimum. Anyway, this guy is Hannah's dad. And I know that this is a little bit dramatic because the people that are going to be in this tier are diabolical. But I'm going to put him in the I'd axe him category because I wouldn't send him to jail. Wouldn't even shoot him. I would axe him. I would want to make it personal, okay? Because this motherfucker, I swear to God, you guys, when I saw that episode where he told Hannah that he's not gonna pay for her university but he's paying for the university of his new wife's daughter, I had a conversation with my grandma who was like, you know, there's like an old saying that men love children only from the woman that they love, so they like switch to parent the other children of the other woman whenever they like move on or something like that. And I'm like, okay, if this is the way that men function, mayhaps their human card should be revoked because that's not normal, okay? That's why I hate this motherfucker. Because like, be a father, you know? Be normal. I don't know. Ashley Marin.
What's a pink drink? Is that code for something gay?
She's going into made the show because even though I wouldn't say that she like has such profound impact on the show, it's not really true. She is giving vibe of a mother who's actually a mother. This character got more involved in this story, and I do not mean Jason's situation in season 5 or whenever it happens. I don't know. She just got good vibes. I just like her. This mask guy, I'm gonna have to put him in thank you for your serving because that was crazy, that was stupid. And I do love how creepy he is because that's so stupid. Wanna watch PLL, this is the stupid shit that I come for, you know? Pam. I keep forgetting your sins because it has good vibes after first season or 2, and we all know why. Oh my god. Peter Hastings, Spencer's dad, that motherfucker has weasel energy, and we're just gonna put him in the weasel energy tier. When I look at Veronica coming in and talking in her lawyer slang, I kind of feel it. Like I look at her and I go, she'd be lawyering. But when this guy comes in and he starts trying to lawyer, it's just kind of like, okay, sit down. You know exactly what I mean. I don't have to explain myself. You know exactly what I mean by that. Caleb.
Really short, like everyone's gonna see your spicy tuna roll short.
Your software slays, by the way.
Unfrickin' believable. This town has it so ass backwards, I cannot.
Respectfully made the show. He's one of my favorite characters, unless I'm forgetting something heinous. I think that he didn't do much heinous shit in general. Again, one of the age-appropriate love interests, and he's just like chill. A lot of his lines are really funny. I do love the iconic moments that are kind of related to him. For example, that was like iconic. You can't tell me nothing. Like to this day I remember it. Good times. Honestly, whenever I remember how much easier life was in like 2013, whatever. Allison's husband,
I would have done anything for Charlotte.
You proved that when you married her cousin.
I put him in the weasel energy. I'm wrong. I'm gonna have to axe him. Yeah, creepy. Okay, disgusting. Okay, impregnated Allison against her will with Emily's ex. Amongst all of this, he was actually dating CeCe before she died, and now, you know, he married Allison because he wanted to, I don't know, get closer to her. It's stupid as shit, but you know what? This clip,
I would have done anything for Charlotte.
You proved that when you married her cousin.
this is so stupid. I love stupid shit. I do. Tippy, he was serving. Thank you for your serving, Tippy. You did your thing. Same goes for the dog that was there for only one episode. You served. And am I biased because you're cute? Yes. The horse, serving. This is so funny and beautiful. When a horse girl is being saved by her horse. Isn't that poetic? I think so. Emily's first boyfriend, such weasel energy. Like you can just look at him and be like, ah, oh, weasel. Paige. Good Lord, listen.
Brand new attitude and I'm gonna wear it tonight. I'm gonna get in trouble. I wanna start a fight.
She's going into, we were supposed to like you, but you suck. And the thing is, I don't think that we were supposed to like her when she was trying to drown Emily. I think we were supposed to like her after and kind of root for them, at least to like a certain extent, because she was one of those girlfriends who actually stuck around for a long time, and I just could not something, I don't know what it is, the dialogue, the way the character is written, maybe the styling of the character, maybe the way like the actors' choices, directing choices, I don't know what it is, but the bitch always annoyed the fuck out of me. Like Paige is just something about her just peeves me. Some people just you don't jive with, and I don't jive with this girl. Like I just can't. The next guy is like this detective again. That motherfucker, oh my god, like every detective in that town, I swear to God, I'd axe him. It is what it is. Melissa. I keep forgetting about her sins because honestly, like sometimes she would say something that was so funny or kind of like a thing that you know the characters needed to hear, but then you remember how involved she was with Ian, how she was doing this and that afterwards. And the thing is, like, I understand that she was like trying to protect Spencer. Bullshit. This girl, the writers had it out for her. All of her partners were just horrible. The fact that she didn't think to protect Spencer for real from her predator boyfriends is crazy. The way that she was acting was so bizarre, and I've seen this show multiple times. I've even like, you know, paid attention to these storylines, and I still to this day, I don't think I quite understand how all of the things that she was doing were supposed to protect Spencer, especially considering that Ian was trying to like literally off her at the bell tower. Come on now, it's stupid. Byron, weasel energy to the max. And even when he was making good decisions in terms of like, for example, protecting Arya from her teacher, even then he still had weasel energy. Yeah, it's a no. Toby.
Almost looks like she could step right out of the frame and kiss you or laugh in your face. What the? What is this? I have done a lot to get that. I got my butt kicked in the academy for it. I fought with my dad about it. I even got a buzz cut.
On rewatches, I would have probably put him in the "you were there, I guess" category, just because on rewatches, his character doesn't have that much impact to compare to when I was watching the show for the first time when it was airing. That's completely two different impacts. Let me know if you had the same experience with that you were really like kicking your feet and you were like, when Spencer and him got together for the first time and like you were really affected by their like dynamic, like you really liked them. On rewatches, I just don't give a fuck. Like it doesn't have the same impact, and obviously it's not supposed to have the same impact because first of all, I've seen the show, second of all, I'm not a teen, third of all, who gives a fuck in general, like the world is burning, so of course I'm not gonna have the same reactions to things as I used to. However, I just feel like he is not as interesting on rewatches, and I don't know why. Let me know if you have the same feeling about him and like if you figured out why. Thank you for your survey, I guess. Like he had his moments. Mike, we were supposed to like him, but he sucks. His character, the only time when I liked him is on rewatches. I like that he punched Ezra when Ezra told the parents that he is in love with Arya. The first time I was watching the show, I just thought he was being overdramatic. And it's because almost immediately since I watched the show for the first time, I think that when I was 15, I was still in that era of what is so crazy about this relationship is that he's her teacher. But then when I turned 16 or so, something clicked and all of a sudden I was like, wait, how old is he again? I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? I think that the longer the show was going, the more I saw Arya and Ezra together, the more I was like, it feels like an adult relationship, and it's really weird because Arya is not an adult. However, the first time I was watching it, I wasn't as affected by it because they don't look that far apart in age. And in this show, the way that they were always talking about these relationships, the age never came up. I genuinely do not remember. Maybe I'm wrong and correct me if I'm wrong in this one, but I do not remember anybody bringing up the age thing, not only about Ezra, but about any of the guys who were all Ezra's age, except for the high school ones, obviously. I just don't know why. It's strange that it was never addressed. It was like a non-issue. And that's like 7 whole years. That's a big age gap. Spencer...
Like what? Did somebody butter their bread with a steak knife?
Did you have an accident?
What? No.
Well, are you going to?
Mary Ho-Ho.
is my girl. She's going into Made the show because I love her. She is interesting. She is fun. The actress, Troyan, phenomenal. And also, like, I do relate to an uptight overachiever type of girly to an extent. So she's going there.
What do you want?
Allison is going into Made the show. However, and I know that this is a very typical thing to say of a PLL fan, pre-season 5 Allison. That was an iconic character that has never been done this well ever before. And you know I'm right. You know I'm correct. Because the high school bully stereotype is very common, but the way that they did it in PLL was so realistic to an extent. Obviously, it's like very heightened in terms of the extent of how far she went and like the crimes and whatever. But in terms of how she spoke and how she would manipulate groups of people and how she would make this like really rancid vibe in the room by pulling strings and knowing each and every person in this room well enough to make them kind of have weird dynamics with each other too, not just with her. That's the type of diabolical that you're dealing with when you're in middle school. She's just truly iconic. The hair, the outfit, especially the yellow top and everything, like it's just, it hits like the entire thing, and the actress killed it, absolutely knocked it out of the park. I honestly should make maybe like a video essay on her. She's my number one probably, honestly. Like she's just that good of a character. Jenna.
Hey Jenna, don't pretend you don't see me, girl. I know you saw me.
Endgame. Hey, Jenna, can I talk to you for a minute?
Oh, and Jenna, if I get one more threat or you ever come back to Rosewood, I'll bury you.
Jenna is actually going to go into Made the Show, even though she is not as important as the main characters and whatever, because she's just that iconic. She's in so many of those iconic clips or part of the most iconic storylines. It was so interesting for me. I remember the first time I was watching the show, we didn't know what happened to her. Riveting. That whole storyline, the way that they went about it, her behavior, how many twists and turns there were in terms of this character. Like she just has that it factor, you know what I mean? Like one of her girlfriends, who cares? Ella. Thank you for your serving, I guess. I really love that actress. She's from Charmed, and I do not remember Charmed again because I also watched Charmed when I was like fucking 5 years old, so I do not remember anything except for being just like enamored with her hair in that show and her outfits, and I really loved her powers because she could freeze shit, I think. And also just Ella is she's not a bad parent. I enjoy her quite a bit. Garrett, weasel energy, straight up. So annoying. Ew. Just ew, the entire thing is just gross. Anyway, CeCe.
Don't be so dramatic out. Americano, straight. Well, the coffee at least.
The weirdest fucking character imaginable, because I did not see the plot twist coming, and I mean nobody saw that plot twist coming because it wasn't written into the show to begin with. You know it, I know it, we all know that Marlene just came up with a bunch of bullshit. This was nonsense. It was, truly. I especially hate that plot line. Obviously, like, the trans plot twist wasn't great. This has been discussed a lot, and I do not want to, like, open up this conversation right now because it's a big one. But aside those serious conversations, I just hate the plot line of her and Jason dating. I understand that Jason didn't know, but CeCe knew. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so diabolical in a way that's not justifiable in any shape or form. And like, obviously, none of the things that CeCe did are justifiable, but at the same time, it fucks up the character a lot because we're supposed to believe that she was rehabilitated later, right? We're supposed to believe that Allison actually understood the problem and was helping CeCe recover, and that they actually were becoming real sisters to each other. At the same time, we're given this plot line where when CeCe was in her sane state, she wasn't off the rails yet. She dated her own brother knowingly. And the implication that Jason was like snappy with other people because he wasn't getting any.
Why do you think he was so mad all the time? He was so frustrated. Who could blame him? I mean, look at me.
Oh, I hate that so much. Like, I genuinely loathe it. Because this is not a difficult thing to not write into the show. Do you know what I mean? The twist, how else are we going to explain how Charles and CeCe are the same person, right? Like, yes, it's horribly handled storyline that involves a topic that the writers clearly didn't know anything about. But this is something that is so easy to avoid and so easy to not write. Something that wasn't necessary at all, yet we have it. Do you know what I mean? It's just gross. I don't know. We're gonna put her in I Keep Forgetting Your Sins because honestly, she was fun when she was sane and not singing about poor mister who came between her and her sister. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, Hannah.
I can't dance on his grave.
Hannah goes into Made the Show because the bitch was funny. The actress sometimes I felt like wasn't hitting emotional points very well, but at the same time, I thought the writing, the comedy was good enough to compensate for that, and I just enjoy how many things about this character are iconic and fun and interesting, so I can overlook that entirely. Twin sister of Allison's mother. I think she's crazy.
You proved that when you married her cousin.
Just the weirdest fucking character, such a stupid plotline, such a stupid side quest. None of this is good, none of this makes sense, and she does have weasel energy to me. To me, she has weasel energy. Noel Kahn.
Or what? You don't want to know, Noel!
On one hand, I really like that he tried to help Arya by being like, oh, you want to report Ezra, whatever, when he realized that Ezra was, grooming her. But he was presented as like the crazy one who's trying to blackmail Ezra. Because of that, the actor was playing it from that perspective, from that kind of vantage point. So even his altruism wasn't actually altruistic at all, which ruins it for me, unfortunately. However, he was very cute, and I wish that he wasn't written in such a stupid way, because to this day I keep forgetting everything about his plotline when it comes to like why the hell he was helping CeCe with the dollhouse. To this day I don't remember why he was even at that house where his head got cut off. I do not, like, you guys, I know that you can explain it to me, because the thing is, I have read all the explanations. I've watched all the videos that explain things that I did not get while I was watching the show. I rewatched the show and I watched those moments. But something about this guy and about some of the characters in the show, it's like a permanent fucking erasure of my memory. It's like I get amnesia every single time I finish watching their storyline. It's like I can't remember chunks of it, and it's so frustrating. But I think it's because there's a lot of plot holes, and these characters were just like written in for the sake of being written in, so it makes sense that I would be forgetting shit.
That's it, Joel. We're over.
What?
I wouldn't axe him. We also weren't supposed to like him. He doesn't have much of a weasel energy. I guess I keep forgetting his sins, but in this case it's not because I like him in some other moments or something like that. It's actually his storyline is so stupid and so convoluted and so far removed from the main cast. So when he returns in such a massive way for just one fucking second and then U-turns right out, it just doesn't work. Okay, Ezra,
I'm in love with your daughter.
I have a master's degree in American literature. There is nothing I can't handle.
In a world of grim obsession,
I would axe him. I'd axe him, but I'm gonna have to put him in We Were Supposed to Like You But You Suck, because the fact of the matter is we were supposed to like this character. The way that the show was written, even with the plot twist in season 5, they still, or 4, whichever it was, they still decided to give us this redemption arc, stick with the whole thing of Arya ending up with him, and it's just fucking depressing, because honestly it would have been so genius if they written the show the way that they wrote it, but then when the plot twist comes with him actually dating Allison before Arya, knowing who Arya is, stalking her, meeting her on purpose, getting to know her on purpose, dating her on purpose, all of this, if they wouldn't have framed it as something that is redeemable and then redeemed him in quotations, I don't think he got redeemed. In my eyes, at least he didn't. I think it would have been genius writing, low-key, don't you think? To me, at least to me, it would have been absolutely genius writing, because it would have exactly mirrored my experience as a teenager watching the show, where at first I was definitely lulled into liking this character because the actor is cute. Let's be for real. The way that he's framed is kind of like this great guy, and he is framed as a good person in general, cares for Arya so much and whatever, and like just had to fight against his own feelings, but he couldn't, yada yada yada. It would have mirrored my experience of going from that to being like, wait, how old is he again, within like 1 year of my life. But in this case it would have been like 4 years of a TV show where so many people, so many girls, and I guess others, were lulled into liking this character because of how he was framed. And this is how guys get framed in real life, two young girls, where we get kind of desensitized to the age gap and to these imbalances in power. And it would have been genius if they did it that way, because it would have definitely knocked some sense into all of us. So if you were one of those people who were Ezra fans, it would have definitely knocked you on your ass. And I feel like that would have been perfect to show that yes, you could find somebody attractive who's older than you, and he could show interest in you, and he could act this way and that way, which technically looks better than those guys who are the same age as you are, who don't have a car and they don't buy you coffee in the morning, or they don't have a cute apartment where you can watch your art movies with him or whatever. But you realize even though you could like all of those things, it's still predatory behavior, because he is a lot older than you are and he is an adult while you are a minor. Do you know what I mean? But they didn't do that, so we're gonna put it in We Were Supposed to Like You But You Suck, because the entire show we're supposed to like him, and I hate that motherfucker. Especially, and I'm sorry to say, but especially I really hate that whole Arya thing when she realizes that she might not be able to have kids and she gets upset about that. Not upset about that for her own sake, but she's upset about it because she's like, what if I can't give you children? The way that she talks about, the way that it's framed, it was just so depressing, because I was like, wow, this is a girl that he groomed since she was 15 years old, and this is the situation that she's in. Like, she's marrying this motherfucker, and then she's also like upset. Like, God, it just all sucks. Sucks so much. Anyway, Emily,
I'd like to wake up now.
Emily is going in, thank you for your serving. Yes, I know it's controversial to put one of the main girls into thank you for your serving instead of made the show, but I gotta be honest with you guys, like, Emily did not have much to do in this show besides being gay. I felt like it's so strange that a woman who has this experience firsthand wouldn't be able to write a compelling character who's like a full-formed person outside of her sexuality, where sexuality is kind of informing some of her experiences but not all of her experiences. I don't know, it's just really strange, and I don't think that all of her experiences were formed because of the sexuality aspect per se. I just don't think that she had enough goals and whatever. Like, yeah, she wanted to swim, but then in the time jump I felt really bad for her, like a mess. I do like how sweet she is, and I really like the actress. She's absolutely gorgeous, like drop dead gorgeous. Let's be fucking for real.
You didn't tell me your name. This was on the porch.
Goodbye.
You know, if you're desperate enough to ask me, then sure, count me in.
Jason is going into I Keep Forgetting Your Sins, but they're bad. And listen, this is actually the reason why PLL came back up in my memory recently, and it's because of Addison Rae and her new song. Her new song does slap, like, let's be for real. However, I was on TikTok and I was just scrolling and someone wrote a caption being like, how did I not realize that this is Jason DiLaurentis in the music video, in Addison's music video, sitting in the bitch, I did not recognize him at all. Well, to be fair, I only heard the song and saw the clips from the music video on TikTok. I did not actually watch the full thing. And honestly, in other clips that I saw afterwards, yeah, you look at it and you're like, oh, that's true. Like, obviously that's that guy. But yeah, I did not realize. And like, he's a beautiful guy. He was my favorite looks-wise in the show, and I was absolutely gutted that they didn't go anywhere with him and Arya. I mean, they did technically in seasons like 7. I just don't count it. There's two things that are wrong about this guy. First of all, the NAT club, absolutely diabolical, disgusting, should be shot on the spot. Now, we're kind of told that he didn't participate in it when it got too crazy or whatever the fuck. I still don't like it. Sue me. Second of all, didn't have to be 7 years older than the girls either. Again, what's with this number, and why did they all have to be one age or the other, like 15 or 22? I think Jason would have benefited a lot as a character from being only a couple of years older than the main cast. It would have made his actions more understandable because of the age. I don't know, girl. I feel like it would have made it a lot better if he was 17 doing stupid shit than like 21 or whatever. On top of that, it would have made him definitely a better contender, you know, for a boyfriend for Arya. I do like him, his arc, his character arc. He becomes quite a normal, well-adjusted person who dealt with his addiction really well and like fixed it and actually got a grip, you know, on his addiction and his problems. But everything else around, like, there's so many things that are just so unforgivable about him that I, like, whenever I remember them, I'm like, oh my god, the fucking NAT club, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Hannah's first boyfriend, he was just fine. He was there. He didn't do anything bad, I don't think. And Hannah was kind of unreasonable with him because, like, yeah, he doesn't want to sleep with you because of his religion. But it doesn't matter why he doesn't want to sleep with you. Like, you should respect his decisions when it comes to his body autonomy. Like, I don't think that it's normal to be crashing his car because he didn't sleep with you. That's nutty behavior. King of the Weasels, Lucas. I'm gonna put him in the weasel energy first because he has weasel energy. He has. Like, we need to be for real. And it's not like, oh, his looks or whatever. It's his overall demeanor. The actor doesn't have that energy. Like, when you look up their interviews, something like that, he doesn't have that energy at all. But the character does have weasel energy. He does become better in the future. He grows up and feels more in his element because he is doing his thing. He's not in high school anymore or whatever. Believe that he, like, gets pretty successful or whatever. I don't really care about that. It's not really something interesting to me because I don't think we, got to know his character that much for it to be that important. However, I am going to put him in I Keep Forgetting Your Sins, I guess. Fine, we're gonna keep him in weasel energy, but just know that he's less of a weasel than everybody else in that row, okay? This Meredith bitch, she's crazy, but she does have weasel energy. Like, we need to be serious here because like she did drug Arya and lock them up in the basement, whatever, but she also has that like little like vibe, like she can't do anything like with her chest. Hate that. Wren,
it was screwed up that Dr. Phil wouldn't even take us on.
Hey, my family has issues too.
Oh, really?
Oh, I keep forgetting his sins, but they're bad. You know what? We're gonna move. We were supposed to like you, but you suck. We're gonna put him there. The actor is very cute. When you look at his smile, he's so adorable. You kind of forget what a little bitch he is. And then you remember and you're like, oh my god, you suck. You genuinely do. But in the show, you weren't supposed to dislike him per se. You weren't supposed to dislike him until the very end, I guess. This guy, he was there. I don't care. Arya?
Rule number 1, never send me to voicemail.
Arya is iconic and like she's important. Emily and her love them to an extent because, listen, I had to knock it down one tier because that moment when she did not believe Hannah about being assaulted, and I remember one of my friends was like, well, Hannah has been drinking a lot lately, whatever, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, are you friends with that man or are you friends with Hannah? I don't understand. I don't know. Anyway, hated that. Arya in general, her interests, her style, everything was kind of more fitting to me, even though I do love her. She's just not an Allison, She's just not a Mona. She's just not a Spencer. Oh, this guy, I'd ask him, detective who assaulted a child who was like 14 years old, Allison. She literally had a pregnancy scare because of him. Disgusting. Ugh. This is so diabolical that I got like a pain behind my eye for a second there. Emily's dad, I'm gonna put him in I Keep Forgetting Your Sins because the thing is, really love his vibe, but he's in the military. Presented as like such a noble thing or whatever, I don't fuck with it. Thank you for your serving. When it comes to Spencer's twin, hate that storyline. It is the worst thing imaginable, but is it funny as shit? And is it iconic? And do I think about, hello Spencer, every other day? Yes. I have to be honest with you guys. Who cares?
What's Kimye? Only if you have one with me. Are you a sour girl?
Get out of here! All of you! Now!
Did you think I looked feral? Wilton's dead.
This girl who was in the bunker with them, the shower girl, weasel energy. Straight up. The weaselest out of them all. No, maybe not the weaselest, but she's in the weasel competition. Like, when people say that you don't compete where you don't compare, she is competing. She is comparing. The last bitch, I don't know who that is. It's 1 a.m. Why am I doing this at this hour? I don't know. What you think about this ranking? Check out the fashion video or whatever if you wanna. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.